What's up, you guys? So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of my new favorite players. He's an incredibly musical guitarist, and everything that just comes out of his fingers it just sounds incredibly musical. Um, a word you can think of is ear candy. It's just everything that he plays just sounds really good, and it sounds good. It sounds pretty. It sounds beautiful. His name is Mateus Asato, and he's taking the Instagram and YouTube community by storm. You could say he's one of the newest guitar heroes, if you want to. So I divided the lesson into two different topics. I'm going to be talking about the different musical concepts such as scales, triads, chords, intervals, and stuff like that that he uses, and then I'm going to be talking about the actual phrasing behind what he does. So let's get to it real quick. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the scales. So a lot of what he does, I could say most of what he does is the major scale and the different modes that arise from the major scale. And within the major scale, you could say that it's mostly major and minor stuff. Another thing that he likes to do a lot is play around with the major and minor pentatonic scales. So most of what he does is just the major scale and its modes and the major and minor pentatonic scales. That's not to say that he does not do other things. If you look around at his videos, you can hear hints of melodic minor and its modes around here and there, but it's not that much. It's just I've only seen it around 2 or 3 of his videos, and I've also heard some symmetrical stuff here and there. But again, it's not the norm. He mostly sticks to the major scale and the modes that arise from the major scale. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is different triads. So he likes to play around with different triads and different triad inversions. So I'm going to show you guys an example of some major triads, some minor triads, some sus2 triads and sus4 triads, which the sus2 and sus4 triads give that open sounding feeling, that modern kind of pop sound that you can hear in a lot of his stuff. Now I'm going to show you guys the different inversions of those triads in the 2, 3, and 4 string set. So I'm only going to show you guys the triad inversions of those 3 strings. So you're going to have the root as the bass, you're going to have the third as the bass, and you're going to have the fifth as the bass. Now all 4 of these examples are in the key of G major, so that you can start here in root position and move up to the third on the bass and with the fifth in the bass. Start here, which is the root position, move up here, which is with the third in the bass, then move up here, which is with the fifth in the bass. So when you're in third position, you have the root. When you're in the 7th position of the neck, or in the 7th fret, or however you want to see it, you have the third in the bass. And when you're in the 12th fret, or 12th position, you have the fifth in the bass. And this is going to be true for all 4 examples that I'm going to show you guys. So here we go. Check it out. The next thing he likes to play with is double stops, and I think you could say that most of his style, not everything, but a lot of what he does is double stops. That's how he can create a unison between his rhythm style and his lead style. He switches up between playing fast lines and more groove-oriented lines by adding double stops. Now this can be done with any type of interval. It can be done with seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, and sevenths. And you could go play the octave, and you can go even higher with some 9s or 11s or whatever you wanna play. But he tends to stick. He does a lot of thirds. He does some fifths, and his admittedly favorite interval is the 6th. If you listen to his interview with Thorne and Tim Pierce, and also you can check out another video as an actual lesson he did for the Musicians Institute channel, and he's actually playing thirds, fifths, and 6s. And when he mentions the 6s, he admits that that's his favorite interval. So I'm going to show you guys an example of 6s using the fourth and second string. Now I'm going to be sticking to the E major scale, which is the key signature of the performance I did at the beginning of the video. Now the next section is all about his phrasing, which is probably the most important thing if you want to try to emulate his style. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is slides, and he applies slides in a bunch of different ways. So the first way I'm going to be showing you guys is just position switches. So for example, again in the key of E major, I'm here over at this pentatonic position, E major pentatonic. Then I move up to this pentatonic position. So I'm going to do a quick lick at this position, and I'm going to move up to the next position. So all I'm doing is just moving up the pentatonic scale. I'm sliding from here. I return to the original note, and then I head to the next position. And that's the first use of slides. The second use of slides is using slides to go into a bend. This is something I talked about in my Guthrie Govan video, which you can find up there. And all you do is you slide to a note, and then you bend that note to the next pitch. So here we go. It'll be something like that. Or you could slide between notes and then bend to a next pitch. So now the last use of slides is with double stops, which is the same thing as the intervals I mentioned before. Now what you're going to do is you're going to move through the different intervals using sliding, just sliding through those double stops. So for example, now for the ending, I'm going to pull together all three of those different slides. So check it out. Now the next type of phrasing is Jimi Hendrix style pentatonic fillers between different triads or different chords. This is another thing he mentions in the interview with Tim Pierce and Pete Thorne. He actually mentions that at his time studying at Musicians Institute, he took a class that's called Jimi Hendrix Rhythm with a professor called Dale Turner. I actually took this class at my time at Musicians Institute, and I'd like to give a quick shout out to Dale Turner. He's an amazing teacher, an incredible human being, and you should check out his stuff. So thanks, Dale, for all the good times and all the lessons. I truly learned a lot from you. Now getting back to the lesson, the main concept behind this class is you take different positions of chords. So there's 5 different positions that you can play them, and you mix them with pentatonic scales. Let's do an example in C sharp minor. So you can take this chord right here, you can take this chord right here, and this chord right here. You're gonna mix them with the different pentatonics, those different positions. So for example, now you could also do this with major chords and major pentatonic scales. It's the exact same concept. Now just practice and create your very own licks and fills with the different pentatonics and the different chord positions. Now the next thing that he likes to do, he does some very fast runs, and he switches between 2 different types of runs. What I tend to see in his videos is he does some shred stuff, some incredibly shred stuff. He might do some sweeps here and there. He might add some tapped sweeps. He also likes to do some country stuff in there. Not too much of it, but he does do it here and there. Then the last thing he does is some what I like to call some Eric Johnson influenced pentatonic runs, and he tends to pick everything. So, for example, this next lick I'm going to show you guys is something I picked up from 2 different videos where he actually did this. And it starts with this chord right here. Now, this could be looked at as a C minor 9 chord, C sharp minor 9 chord. Or it could be looked at an E major 7 chord. The important thing is that you start with that, and then you move. Once you do that, you move to the actual pentatonic run. Now, the next thing he likes to do a lot is play around with his whammy bar. So he might do some expressive phrasing like Jeff Beck might do, or Scott Henderson might do. And then there's this other thing that I picked up from, again, 2 different videos that I saw, one live and one of his Instagram videos, where he just plays some chords and he pulls the whammy bar up a little bit and then returns back to the normal pitch of the chord. So here's an example of that. Another thing he likes to do is finger pick or hybrid pick. So he might play a fingerstyle guitar with all 5 fingers, or he might play some hybrid picking stuff with the pick and his fingers. So he might go something like this. The important thing here is to practice the right hand pattern first and then apply it to some different chords. Finally, and probably one of the most important things in terms of soloing, is he likes to employ the use of chord tones. All this means is that he likes to use the notes within the chords to solo over those chords. So he's not just playing scales up and down. Yes, he does that here and there, but most of the things he does is based around actual chord tones, the actual notes in the chords. And this is very important when you want to get a really nice sound, something that sounds really well against the chords that you're playing in. That's what makes him get that incredible pop sound and makes everything sound really musical. It's because he's playing the chords, he's playing the actual notes within the chords to solo or to add fills with those chords. This can also be done by employing the use of pentatonics, the specific pentatonics of each chord. But yeah, this is a great way to find the right notes for the right time. Alright, so that's it for this video. Remember to comment below, subscribe to my channel, follow me on any type of social media like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and you can also follow me on my official website, juanantoniomusic.com. Alright, thanks for watching.